Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, October 30th, 2013. I'm Paul, and bend over, here it comes again, because this is Bohicaville. Well, Secretary of the Health and Human Services Department, Kathleen Sebelius, testified before a congressional committee today. Meanwhile, the Oracle, President Obama, gave a big speech on the Affordable Care Act up in Boston. Um, Now, Kathleen Sebelius was grilled pretty heavily um, by the members of Congress today, although she was grilled more heavily by the Republicans, obviously, than the Democrats. But it seems that with these committee hearings in Congress that have been conducted over the Health Care Act, everyone is apologizing, but nobody wants to take the blame. And it seems to be that way with the Oracle, too. He's apologizing for all the problems, but doesn't want to take the blame. It's somebody's fault. So, yeah, up in Boston, the Oracle gave a big speech today on the Affordable Care Act. I caught it on C-SPAN. And I have to say that his rhetoric is really good. I mean, he has really good speech writers. I think anyway. I mean, just really, really good speech writing, especially this particular speech. It was very well written. I mean, if he has a teleprompter in front of him, he's gold. Um, it's easy to understand why he's so appealing. He just radiates that kind of charisma, but authoritativeness. That gravitas at the same time, and that's a pretty hard act to pull off. Um, but the Oracle does it very well. The speech was interrupted twice, and I couldn't tell from the C-SPAN microphones what exactly they were protesting, but the first set of interruptions had to do with the climate change issue, and the second set of interruptions had to do with the Keystone Pipeline. So like I said, I'm not sure what the interrupters were screaming about, but he did make it all the way through the speech without anyone fainting. Um, and one of the things that the Oracle said, the president said, was that he reiterated his line about it being more affordable, and saying if you can't afford your health care coverage now, this will be cheaper. Well, now we've been hearing stories about people trying to sign up and it being a lot more expensive. Um, but then the administration has countered that by saying, "Oh no, 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 no! There's people who are getting it for cheaper." All right, well let's say there are a lot of people out there who are getting it for cheaper. Uh, do you think that means that the coverage is actually cheaper, or do you think it means that that individual will pay less money for their coverage? Okay. You see, I think what it means is that individual will pay less money for their coverage. The coverage will still cost the same. In other words, the insurance companies, who are the ones who really wrote the Affordable Care Act, the insurance companies will still be collecting the same amount of money as before. In fact, they'll be collecting more because insurance rates keep going up and up and up every year. Plus, they'll be collecting more because of the individual mandate. Okay? So, there may be some individuals who are going to pay less, but overall, it's going to cost more, and the insurance companies are going to make more. Well, how can the insurance companies make more if the people pay less? Well, the only way that can happen is the same way that any other government entitlement program happens. In order to pay Paul, you have to first take from Peter. Okay, now I'm not sure how much we can keep taking from Peter in order to pay Paul. Now, by the way, when I say taking from Peter to pay Paul, I'm not I'm not speaking about myself, Paul, um, and I'm not speaking about Paul in the context of anyone who's poor. But there are a lot of Pauls out there who are receiving benefits from the government who are not poor at all. I mean, a lot of these big energy companies, uh, big oil, uh, big wind, big water, big nuclear, big natural gas, they're getting subsidies from the government. But do you think the owners of those companies are exactly poor? But they're still taking from Peter in order to pay Paul. So my question is, how much more of this can we take? And shouldn't we stop taking from Peter to pay the Pauls that are rich and concentrate on the Pauls who are poor? I mean, wouldn't that be a better use of the money? Especially if you're going to take it by force at the point of a gun. And if you think it's not taken by force at the point of a gun, then obviously you've never tried not paying your taxes. I haven't either, but I've known some people who have. And they got in some trouble. I mean, people have served jail time for failing to pay their taxes. That is the point of a gun. Okay? So it is not voluntary. And it is not, I mean, it's not something we have a choice over. Everyone has to pay, or else we will pay a penalty. And the question is, at what point does that become wrong? Especially since it seems that the rich, I mean like the richest 1%, or in particular the richest 0.1%, keep getting richer. Whereas the poor, like the 80 or 90% at the bottom, keep getting poorer. I mean, how does that continue to happen if we continue to have all these entitlement programs that are supposed to help out people of modest means? And the answer is that the entitled programs are really helping out big money corporate interests who hire lobbyists to go buy politicians and grease political palms and get laws passed and statutes passed and regulations passed that are to their benefit, but to the detriment of the little guy, to you and I. It's to our detriment, folks. And they're benefiting. Okay, and this is not a Republican or a Democratic thing. I'm an independent. This is not Republican. This is not Democrat. I think there are Republicans and Democrats out there who can agree with me that this way of doing things is wrong. And it has to stop. But the question is, will it stop before it's too late, if it's not already too late? Personally, I'm beginning to get very worried that it may already be too late. And it's just a matter of time before we go over that cliff. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, then please thumbs up and subscribe. And watch other videos from Bohicaville. Ciao.